The metaverse is like the real world, it turns out, with experts now warning some of the problems we have IRL are going virtual with us. Here's NBC's Maura Barrett.
Today, we're going to talk about the metaverse.
Meta, formerly Facebook, sees a new world of opportunity in the metaverse.
You're going to be able to do almost anything you can imagine.
But when Nina Jane Patel stepped into Meta's Horizon Venues, a space for virtual events, something she did not want to imagine happened.
Less than 30 seconds into it, I was suddenly surrounded by 3 male avatars with male voices who were kind of saying sexual innuendos to me. Before I knew it, they were, for lack of a better word, groping my avatar. So they were touching my upper and middle portion of my avatar.
Patel said she fumbled with her controller and could not put blocking features on quickly enough.
They said things like, don't pretend you don't love it. Clearly, people are using this space to, sexually harass and verbally harass people and act out their violent tendencies.
This week, Meta announced new personal boundaries, so avatars default to keeping nearly 4 feet of distance between each other. The company says this, quote, makes it easier to avoid unwanted interactions like this one, and we are sorry this happened. Infringement of personal space, though, is not the only concern for critics.
It's incredibly dangerous, potentially, to kids to have them in that environment. I mean, honestly speaking, I'd be very nervous as a parent about having Mark Zuckerberg's algorithms babysit my kids.
The Center for Countering Digital Hate is a nonprofit that analyzes and seeks to disrupt online hate and misinformation. One of their researchers spent 11.5 hours recording activity on VR Chat, a virtual world platform accessed on Meta's Oculus headset.
We found one infringement of the rules, and by that we mean grooming, child sexual grooming. We mean extreme hatred. One infringement every 7 minutes.
The organization shared its data logs and recordings with NBC. They found 37 instances of sexual content, 20 reports of racism, and 9 reports of abuse, most with minors present.
Trying to bully some kids? Sure. Right there, that little 12-year-old right here. He must learn.
Instances of hate speech, homophobia, misogyny, and rape were also reported in the virtual world. Age limits in these spaces vary. Both Meta's Horizon Venues and spaces accessed with Quest headsets where these incidents occurred are 13 plus. Meta advises adults should monitor their child's use. Responding to NBC's questions about these incidents and reporting issues, a Meta spokesperson said in part, Horizon Venues should be safe, and we are committed to building it that way. We will continue to make improvements as we learn more about how people interact in these spaces, especially when it comes to helping people report things easily and reliably. Skepticism still remains, though.
As virtual reality becomes more and more realistic, so it becomes more damaging because, of course, the psychological impacts of that environment feel more real. They're more difficult to sort of discern from our offline reality.
As for other safety precautions that are already in place, you can mute or block a user if you so choose. You can also, as a user, transport yourself to a safe zone if you need to kind of take a beat and remove yourself from the situation in the virtual world. And Meta also says that they have trained safety specialists that are monitoring any content that's going on in these rooms. But they do acknowledge that this is a work in progress and that they will add more safety precautions as are needed. And they say that they couldn't foresee everything that could have been an issue coming into launch, and so they acknowledge that this is something that they'll have to keep an eye on going forward.